And this he didn't have at all. He didn't have any punch. In that interview, there was no punch. In that interview, there were no bites. Even if you look at the media, I've not looked at the papers, I don't expect anything. Are you in a boardroom? Your TV in your boardroom. Watu wanasikia your TV, si watu wanasikia your lugha. Watu wanawatch yeye ni watu wanatafuta president. Sema vitu ambaye itawafanya wakupatie kura.
Tukikuja hapo kwa kura.
Yesterday was for him to show the Kenyan voter the search for an opposition candidate is over. Gachagua is propelling himself to a point where you can't stop him. You will be causing disaster and chaos in the country. This man is dangerous.
Great to see you. Hello and welcome to Prof. Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadil Kibiro. Fred Matiang'I is back speaking tough, saying that he's vying for presidency in 2027, saying he's looking for coalitions, actually speaking about some of the questions Kenyans have had. And I'm here with Prof to talk about that. Prof, great to see you.
How are you? Fine.
Listen to Fred Matiang'I. How would you assess that interview and how he answered the questions? I'm seeing some people on social media saying even that face is showing some dictatorship, but it's also showing a leader.
It is, I have mixed views. On the one hand, I found him underwhelming. Because you see, this is a political space. And he's entering a ring without being ready to fight. This political space is for fighters. So I found him extremely underwhelming. I couldn't believe.
What was the expectation? Say Ruto must go, say Murkomen
you know, that's what I'm saying is mixed. So on the one hand, I'm beginning with the negative. He didn't come out as a person who understands that this race is a political race. That you have to fight. That one of the advantages he brings on the table is people have said, when they need a no-nonsense person, when they need a fighter, it will be him. That didn't come out. So he underwhelmed. He was underwhelming in terms of that, on that parameter alone. Because you see, look at Gachagua. Look at how he's exciting the crowds. So he must have a bit of that. And this he didn't have at all. He didn't have any punch. In that interview, there was no punch. In that interview, there were no bites. Even if you look at the media, I've not looked at the papers, I don't expect anything. Nothing. You know, so you need to say things that capture the media's attention and that make people see something is happening and identify you as a person who is capable of being president. In other words, you must move away from being a maraga. You are not exciting. You are pale. You are dull. You are just talking. So to that extent, Matiang'I performed very badly. However, there are also people who are looking for a person who is not their usual politician, who is not just throwing around words and bites and slogans, Ruto must go. People have had enough of that. So there's the feeling this country that people are looking for someone who can work. So on that score, he performed very well. He comes out as a person you can trust to work. However, and I've told even people like Raila and the rest, first you must get power. It does not matter what ideas you have. You must first get power. So I doubt you'll get power by being logical in these spaces. No. So Matiang'I will have to recalibrate how he's doing his game. He will soon realize he's nothing. People just pass and oh, that was Matiang'I, and they go where they were going. So these spaces are tough.
I just want to know what would have been your advice if you asked you how I should present myself to the media, and I'm going for
that balance. That balance, which Mother Karua failed during the interview with Gachagua. The advisors told Mother Karua, people know you are tough. Please don't go and be tough. Don't confirm what people are saying that you are bad. If you took over, you'll do this. So she listened to that part and acted that part. If she had come to me, I would have told her, Gachagua is not a man. You go and hit him. Hit that guy. Hit Gachagua. Hit him. Dismiss him. Dismiss Ruto. Dismiss Gachagua. Piga. She came out looking so weak because we turned her into what she's not. We got Mother Karua, who is a fish, and removed her from water and told her to survive on some artificial oxygen. It refused to work. Gachagua made mincemeal of her. So the same, if I was advising Matiang'I, I would have told him, people see you differently. There are two Matiang'Is. There's a Matiang'I who people are looking for a worker, not a politician, a person who can work. And you have demonstrated experience. You have shown by experience you can work. That Matiang'I, let it come through. But there's also the Matiang'I people are looking for. People are looking for a tough, no-nonsense person. This country is a point we are looking for a mad person. So if I was his advisor, if I was the one working on this before he went to Season TV, you would have seen a different Matiang'I. And people, I've looked a bit because every evening before I sleep, I must give a minimum of 1-2 hours on social media. And when I wake up in the morning, I've looked a bit. And many people share the views I have. When I look at the views, they may not be seeing where the problem is, but there are those like me who can see the problem. He failed to balance those two.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that...
So if you score 80 here and you score 30 there, 30 plus 80 is 110. Divide by 2, 55. A bad C. So Matiang'I got a bad C.
But could this
you give Gachagua that space. You give him.
This was my question.
Have you seen Gachagua interviews?
Yes. Receipts.
Yes.
Coming up with some allegations.
Yeah. You saw how Ruto gave Raila and Ruto hard time in 2022. Ama hukuona? Uliona vile Ruto alikimiza hiyo wazee?
Yes.
Yes. This is Kenya. At the end of the day, that is what will count. People will be looking for a politician, not a technocrat. The technocrat part of you, in fact, must be 40%. It must come out that you can work, but 30 to 40%. 60 to 70% is the politician. That is what will bring the votes. You need the votes to get to State House. Now you're just weka kando, sio kando, now you reverse. 70% becomes work, 30% politics. Because again, if you neglect politics and think you can work like some governors do, they get impeached. Or they are always on their toes. MCAs are always threatening them. You see? Or if you put politics 70%, you are like Ruto.
That's what I wanted to ask.
You are not working.
What is Ruto doing?
You are doing politics. Ruto politics 70%. Work 25.
How then do you assess how Matiang'I answered the questions and the controversies that he has had from Ruaraka land to Yala deaths and everything in between? He's calling for public inquiry, saying the files are still with the DCI.
That's the Matiang'I I'm talking about.
What should he have said? Because you said in our previous conversations that it will get to a time where Matiang'I will have to answer, and I think that is the answer.
He didn't answer, if you ask him. He didn't. He answered, he talked to me, and perhaps to you and a few others. He didn't talk to Kenyans. So when the boxing will start, when the punching will begin, bare knuckle, when they will be looking for this ticket, people just spring River Yala, Ruaraka, because he didn't answer. He talked to intelligent people. Government does this all the time. Government acquires this. Government. That is nonsense. People don't talk to people. You know you are in a political space, because that is going to be the. Just to understand why I'm saying Matiang'I did not respond to the issue of River Yala and Ruaraka land. That is going to be the biggest issue that is going to handle throughout. And he began very badly. Yesterday was the time to dismiss it.
But just saying we need a public inquiry. If you think I'm wrong, let the government come and investigate.
That's boardroom language. That's logical, intellectual discussion. You don't intellectualize in politics. Politics is about the voter, common person. Hata ajui inquiry unasema ni nini. Okay. You know, let me tell you, I don't know these people, these politicians, they are the same, all of them. Even this, now look at Matiang'I.
Remember, he's not a politician, Matiang'I.
Yeah, whatever. Now he has gone to the political space. He's doing what all of them do. You listen to conmen and brokers around you. You have no time for intelligent men and women who can tell you, hey, hii ndio kitu sensitive. Hii aliwaraka hii. So your responses are pedestrian. You are talking to, let me tell you, and those who advise Matiang'I, listen to me. If you took a really poll of really voters in Kenya and asked them, Matiang'I talked of an inquiry, what does it mean? Not even from a technical, legal point of view, just that you know what it means. Even remotely, 99.99% of the voters don't know what an inquiry is. So Matiang'I was speaking to himself. Therefore, he's like any other politician. Raila has survived, not because necessarily he listened to people, because he had the energy, the vigor, he had everything, carrying it himself. So is Ruto. So was Moi. But the modern leader today survives from intelligence, from advice, from technical knowledge and information, from men and women around you who help you win an election, who help you govern. In the absence of such, you see, Ruto cannot govern. He's completely unable to govern because he doesn't have people who can make you see what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do, how to do this, how to delay this, how to postpone this, how to give this one preference, priority over the other, technical, you can't do it yourself. So Moi, Raila and Ruto have individual capacities. Give it to them. But because of that, there were many atrocities that have spoiled Moi's otherwise good legacy. Moi has a good legacy, and I've said it many times. But because of that man solo approach, going alone, the things that have spoiled his legacy would have been avoided.
But he tried to...
Same with Raila. If Raila had also put men and women around him, intelligent men and women, he would have become president long time ago.
I'm saying when you listen to...
Ruto is capable. In the absence of intelligent men around you, you are surrounding yourself with people who say what you want to hear, who know you. Wanajua kile unataka. They say what you want to hear. They cheer you up. They know you. If you talk business, he's happy and do. You are not governing the country. You can even make this country die. Matiang'I has fallen in the same trap, and I saw it yesterday.
I'm asking, he tried to explain, talking about, when he was asked about the Interior Cabinet Secretary and his remarks on police shoot to kill orders,
yes.
Trying to say sometimes Interior CS might not know everything that is happening, even he himself might not have known what is happening in government, trying to explain that
so what the hell do you have being a minister? My idea of a minister is Michuki. That's the minister I have in mind. Don't tell me there are things you can't do the other people. Then why do we have you? Why don't we just let everything be done by clerks? There's something a minister ought to bring. You cannot tell me police do things on their own on matters of command. Then why are you minister?
But he was arguing...
Why are you minister?
Yeah.
Why are you minister?
I'm saying he was arguing that he cannot be a micromanager.
You don't micromanage. You are, in fact, micromanaging is wrong. You are a leader, not a manager. A minister is a leader, not a manager. The president ought to be operating at the strategy level. But Ruto is operating at the operational level. He has refused to transit from operation to strategy. That is why he's in problems. And that is how sitting around a table with intelligent people helps. They help you transit from a technical, operational person to a guy of strategy. To operate you move from tactical, I've got the word, from tactical to strategic rather. From being a person who can do things, or let's put it in a simple way, from moving from manager to leader, From a person who has people doing things for him on the ground, collecting information, making sense out of information, processing information, to a person who uses that processed information. Many leaders do not transit to that level of using information processed by others.
So what are you saying, that Matiang'I as a minister was not a leader? Because even when he was asked about special units, he was saying he doesn't know there were special units.
How would you not
So
know?
what are you saying? He wasn't a
You
leader
see, that
then?
may be well true. But back to what I said, who are you speaking to? Are you in a boardroom? Hiyo TV ni ya boardroom. Watu wanasikia hiyo TV, si watu wanasikia hiyo lugha. Watu wanaowatch yeye ni watu wanatafuta president. Sema vitu ambaye itawafanya wakupatie kura.
Tukikuja hapo kwa kura. Tukuje kwa kura then. What was the expectation? I mentioned about Murkomen and his remarks, and Matiang'I just said he was wrong. I talked about earlier about Ruto must go. Maybe this is what people wanted to hear.
You can even dismiss your own problems. Sema hizi kazi zingine unafanya, you don't know that you are not what you think you are. So kina Murkomen wako bado wako your stage where they think they are very important. They are learning. These are young people. They are still excited with a small job. You know, that's what people want to hear.
Do you think he should have openly attacked Ruto? Because now the whole country, people are just attacking Ruto left, right and center. Do you think
it
he should have
depends on
done
how the question comes and how you attack. You have to dismiss Ruto if you want to replace him.
Because this is what we are seeing with
And the way you dismiss Ruto is not to an intelligent man like Manyora. It's to the voter who does not use the intellect to make a decision. Ushike kwa roho yake. Make America great. Drain the swamp. Washington is full of blood. People are willing the mega rallies. Why? Because Trump says the things the voters want to hear.
And you didn't get that from Matiang'I?
Yes, he didn't. I thought he would know. Because Matiang'I and I did a little literature somewhere and taught a bit of it.
I know your friends now. I wonder mbona unatandika sana.
Let me tell you, and I've said this before and I'll repeat it here.
Yeah.
If Matiang'I becomes president, I can go and sleep, knowing I have a president in the State House. That's the fact. Because I know Matiang'I. I know him at a personal level. And I know he is a man of determination. And when Matiang'I means to do something, he'll do it. I know. I've been with him for many years. I'm just talking, I'm limiting myself to the... I hope it's not spoiling for him. Side. I hope it doesn't spoil for him. I hope it makes him improve. I
know I've reminded you he's your friend. Now you're thinking again.
How can I forget a friend? Matiang'I is a friend. I'm not denying it.
Yeah.
He's a friend. I haven't denied him.
Yeah.
In fact, if I said I was not going to support him, if he's looking for support, people will be surprised. I have to support him. I have a very limited option. But Matiang'I must now know he's not talking to Manyora. He's talking to the voter. Every word that comes from his mouth, Matiang'I must know. Every word that comes from his mouth must come back with a vote. Ukitoa maneno inakuja na kura. No, it's no time for intellectual discussion about inquiries, words. No!
Finally, how would you want him to navigate through this period of campaigns? Because there was a question about his association with the opposition. Rigathi, Gachagua, Kalonzo, Musyoka, some telling him that he hasn't been seeing enough with the other team together. Some, he's saying now that you can't be together, you have to campaign alone so that you get your own votes. How should he navigate this period when it comes to his dealings with
that
Gachagua?
question again, he was not able to. Sam Gituku is I've been with him in the studio, I know. That boy is prepared. In fact, I even think he was sparing him.
You think so?
Yeah. I could see Sam Gituku. I can look him in the eyes. When I see it in the eyes, I don't know where I'm spare kidogo. Nasema bana, huyu mzee ndiye ameingia area kwanza. Wacha tumuonyeshe tu kidogo. Sam is good, my friend. I think he's top of the top in this country. He does his research. And he knows what to ask. He knows how to get stuff from me. So, in terms of
that question,
how he's interacting with his fellow politicians, those who want the same job he wants, of course, he tried his best. Sam Gituku didn't push him hard enough, but it left Sam Gituku showing the viewer that this guy has a small problem working with the others. I would have advised Matiang'I to do two things. One is to make sure he doesn't lose his colleagues and they don't lose him. They remain together. While at the same time doing the second thing. Thing number two is to leave no doubt in the Kenyan voter. They already have the opposition candidates. Again, he didn't do that.
Which is him?
Which is him. He didn't do that. Yesterday was for him to show the Kenyan voter the search for an opposition candidate is over.
I'm in town.
He didn't do it. So that's why I'm telling these politicians, these people, they sit with people who cheer them. Sit with me. Me, I will not cheer you. Nitakuzungusha mpaka hata ukisikia Manyora yako kwa compound, naambia mzee amepumzika kidogo, alichoka sana jana, amelala. Akuja hapa 2 hours. Nikikuja umetoka. I will shake you. Nitakutingisha hivi mpaka ukiingia kwa TV pale.
Yeah.
You are not the same person. Umechemuka ukiangalia voter sema that is the president. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? I was doing some radio interview today. I think Radio Africa. Today morning. Why am I saying that? Truthful man of God. You know him?
Rigathi.
Son of Mau Mau. AKA Rigathi. Almarufu.
Skiza ground.
The ground.
Yeah.
Skiza. Rigathi Gachagua. Has eyes on the ball. Eyes on the
ball.
Let me announce to these people, Maraga, listen to me. Please give Maraga this video. Give it to this guy from Busia. What do you call him? My friend, Omtata.
Omtata.
Give this video to Matiang'I. Let Kalonzo listen to me. Eugene Wamalwa anatembea.
Kalonzo.
Kalonzo, yeah.
Martha.
Mother Karua. All of you, listen to me carefully. Gachagua has eyes on the ball. Gachagua wants to be president of this country. He knows his disadvantages. He knows everything people are saying about him. See, we said he was uncouth, he was uncivilized, he didn't know even how to eat, how to dress. That's what we all said.
Yes.
Then he became, even when he was deputy president, akaanza kuvaa vizuri kidogo, akabadilisha kidogo. Then when he was impeached, we said, yes, he's good. Yes, ameonewa. Yes, it was unfair. We sympathize. Then he began mobilizing Mount Kenya to reject Ruto. Cementing it is already there, just farming it up. People said, this is a tribalist. Gachagua ni mulima tu. He knew that was his problem. But he was clever than us. He knew he would go nowhere without putting the mountain firmly united and behind him. Didn't he do that? Still eyes on the... Na nyinyi mnamuita tribalist. What did he do next? While you are still trying to isolate the Mount Kenya people, and you see that narrative was everywhere, to ensure that the Mount Kenya remain isolated. He slapped you with Makuzo, cousins. You woke up from your slumber. It's no longer Mount Kenya. Kameenda, kametamba.
Yes.
Kametamba. Eyes on the ball. Eyes on the ball does not necessarily mean he has to be president in 2027, although he can. The person he would give, because he will the one be giving, if he's not running, will be a person from whom he will take anytime he wants. 2032, or even before. Make no mistake. Before he could recover from cousins Makuzo, alikuwa kwa mashemegi. In order to run ahead of Matiang'I and Kalonzo and the rest, he may take Natembea. A public whatever. Not necessarily an announcement, but it's obvious, it's public. He's going to work with Natembea. He has the whole of Western and the whole of the mountain and a few Makuzos. You are gone. He will be left with only one hurdle. Two. One, which will be his last hurdle, is actually one. The last hurdle will be to remove from the minds of the people, especially Mount Kenya, that Gachagua is a good fighter. He's fighting our war and our cause, but he's not presidential. He knows that. That the president is Kalonzo or Matiang'I. Hiyo sasa ndio atatoa kwa watu wa Mount Kenya. Game short. Hii ingine impeachment, no, it's nonsense. There's nothing like impeachment. Mudavadi was saying, the man has been impeached, he cannot, which running? Who would stop him? Once Gachagua has the whole country behind him, you can't stop him from running. We didn't stop Uhuru Kenyatta, did we? And Ruto. And they were indictees, accused of international. I have the privilege of having looked at the charges. The mayor was there. Meru walikuwa wanasema, how can you accuse of circumcising people by force, rape? The mayor was so annoyed, but those were the charges. With all this, and I remember Carson telling us, choices have consequences. Yeah, but we could not stop Ruto and Uhuru from running. Gachagua is propelling himself to a point where you can't stop him. You will be causing disaster and chaos in the country. This man is dangerous. The long and short of what I am saying is, before Gachagua reaches there, Matiang'I ought to have reached there.
Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye for now.